Hey, and welcome to the show. This show is brought to you by Patreon members like you.
Thank you for being a Patreon member.
As a Patreon member, you get a video of the podcast that we put out twice a month.
Now, on with the show.
Oh,
We're good.
that's good. Glad you just noticed that. Damn it. I opened it anyway. All right, hold on.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hold on, I'm going to dig through the trash for a minute.
What's up, Aaron?
Here you go. I needed that.
Hey, Christopher.
That was all part of the...
Christopher Bennett. Bobby, this notice in the house.
Yeah, all right, let me get in. Let me get into TV mode.
Yep. Really?
Yeah, you know, I gotta get psyched. What's
up,
up,
Andrew?
everybody, and welcome to the show. That's right, James. Polarity checkers.
Yeah.
Did you know about that? I told you about that. Right? Yeah. So this is the show that we pick them off of this show. Everyone gets to we'll pick a polarity checker. So
I was just at a training last week and I saw one of the.
Oh yeah? One of ours?
Aaron had.
Oh, Aaron had.
Ah,
Yeah, Aaron got
Yeah.
one. Got the first one.
Yeah.
But you gotta turn the volume down, John. All right, so as you guys saw from the title, we have Mr. Chris Bennett here from Audio Control, which means we're gonna talk all about cool audio control stuff, along with, this is like his third or fourth time? He's been here a couple times.
3 times.
So we already
Third
did.
time's a charm.
TV Dean versus regular Dean.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna do that. I mean, we'll
totally
slow
different,
down.
man. It's just like
There's kids that watch this show. Come on.
exactly.
Mike's been here before. He's actually just got a job. He's getting ready to move down here. He's going to
cool.
transfer. So,
It's hot. It's hot down here.
oh, it is hot. It's wonderful.
96 degrees right
It's
now.
hot.
Is it
Brooklyn.
96?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Monday I don't run. So tomorrow will be run
day.
and the rest of the week will be run. But Mondays I don't run because of this, and like the wives and the daughters are like, hey, you got to do that. Anyways, so thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We're going to talk about some new audio control products that are going to be coming out. You guys are going to be the first to find out about them because, well, we haven't talked about it before. We've known about them for a while, but we can't share them with you guys until he says we can do it. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, if you have any questions about audio control, by all means, ask, and if we'll figure them out if we can. And otherwise, we're just going to have a gay old time. You know, there was something you said where you were a tow truck driver.
Yep.
And I don't know if I knew that.
Aaron was too. We talked about it last week.
Oh yeah, Aaron. Yeah, well, Aaron looks like a tow truck driver.
and so we were talking about that. But yeah, the company. How I got into car audio was I always was into audio. But I started driving a tow truck, and the owner who owned the towing company I worked for owned a car stereo shop as well.
Wow.
And so that's how I got started.
It would be a D 4.800.
In fact, I saw George Smith. Hey, George, what's up, man? So a retailer
That
at
product number?
Yeah.
They're on sale now.
That's pretty cool.
Got my Star Wars land reservation for June 8th. I hate you, Bobby.
What's up, Lima,
Which
Peru?
means I love you, Bobby, but
Yay.
we're not going for 2 years. Drew, we're going to get you your car, I promise. So, tow trucking,
Yep.
and that led to car audio.
Yeah, just in between calls, I would go into the stereo shop and just started selling product, and yeah, it was fun. I liked car audio way more than driving a tow truck. So
Now,
20-something years later, here we are.
so you
Okay, before you say
go ahead.
something, Alfredo say, how can I go and repair my LCQs?
LCQ1.
Yeah, there's no power.
Okay, so all you have to do is call Audio Control. The number's 425-775-8461. We have probably one of the best customer service teams available in 12 volt. You just call that number and you can request a return authorization. They can send it in. We can then call you back and let you know what the price would be to repair it. We get people that send us product from 17, 20 years ago, and they're getting ready to install it into another car, and they just want us to look it over. So depending on what the situation is and what needs to be repaired or replaced, we can just get right back with you, give you a shout, let you know what the charges are to repair or replace. Most repair or replace
5-year warranty?
Yeah, everything does have a 5-year warranty. So
That's pretty cool.
across the board. So it's pretty unheard of for a manufacturer to grow at the rate we were growing and still continue that 5-year warranty.
Right, that's correct.
And the reason why you guys can fix them in-house is because most of the stuff is assembled in-house.
All the stuff is final assembly in-house. Yeah. So
you
even the
actually
LC2I.
you actually have people there that know how to solder.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's funny, but, you know, our LC2I, one of the best-selling products, it's still final assembly here in the U.S. It gets listened to, plugged in, powered up before it goes out the door. So by the time you guys get it, you know that it works. And for the amount that we sell, we basically have zero return rates or zero failures with LC2Is, LC7Is stuff.
So you mentioned the LC2I. And I'm going to segue. Can I segue into that, or is it too soon to talk about
That's too soon.
Okay, never mind. We won't talk about that. Hey, did you see the guy Paul from Australia?
Yeah. He just got his
He just got his stickers.
Yeah.
And I just bring it up because we were just talking about Stinger Australia.
Yeah.
They're going to be making harnesses.
Yeah, still very early in the development.
Which I shouldn't be talking about either.
Yeah.
So pretend. But big shout out to Australia. Actually, Australia
big shout out to
was
Australia,
our
California,
one of our number
Peru.
one
Viewers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like when we look at the demographics, Australia was last month was huge. So
Stinger Australia
love
is
to those guys.
our distribution partner out there, and they do a fantastic job. They do such an amazing job with marketing and sales of products. So props to you guys. We appreciate it. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, where I'm not at, I'm baking hot down here in Florida. So.
Oh, 12 volt talk. Oh, I need to go on to. How did you like going on the Big D Wiz's show?
You know, that was really cool. You know,
I know it's not this where you're sitting and get to smack me in the head, but I mean, you know,
it was really good. I mean, the questions that they had were very good. If any of you guys didn't see it, you know, hopefully you can watch it. But I think what I really enjoyed about it was we had the means to really talk about audio control as a whole, how we function as a company, our legacy, and why we're seeing the growth that we're seeing.
Yeah.
You know,
well, we were seeing the growth because you never go home.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure your wife just has a rollout picture of you that lays on the bed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, hey, night, honey.
Jack Jesse, what's up, brother? That's Jack Jesse was an installer. I've known him for 25 years or something.
Nice.
He was an installer. He worked for me at Audio Habitat in Grove Reach. So he was an employee of mine for 3 to 4 years, something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, I like John's question,
Yeah.
only because it's a fair question where it says, do you think Best Buy carrying audio control will curse the brand as so many other companies Best Buy did? Now, I don't know about cursing brands. I know that there's been a couple brands that have gone through like Circuit City and Best Buy.
Yeah.
They've been none. I mean, they all survived for the most part, but
I think that's a great question,
Yeah.
you guys. You know, I'm a 12 volt guy for 24 years, and it was a big decision for us to even do the test with Best Buy. You know, so our test with Best Buy really was only legacy products, LC2I, LC7I, and the Epicenter. I think the test went fantastic. We did roll out to more stores. They are a good partner for us for those products. Do I think that, you know, we're ever going to put the D6-1200 into the stores? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, we
say they're hard enough for independence.
right, and so we're protecting our line just as much as we're protecting our partnerships.
Right.
And so it does make sense for us. One of the really cool things about the Best Buy partnership was it allowed us to have some revenue generated where we can go back and start doing things that we need to do as far as protecting our brand and pricing from third-party stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I don't believe that will ever be the case. I don't know that, you know, the volume is there that it would ever hurt us to really if we backed away from it.
Right.
But
I mean,
but in the
SKUs.
meantime, it's growing. You know, and you know, there's a lot of 14, 15-year veterans at Best Buy installing, and they are smart guys. Many of them are MECP, advanced or master.
Yeah.
There are a ton of great installers at Best Buy.
Well, how many Best Buy stores are there?
There is 1,400, I believe, and I think 1,000 of them have install bays.
So you got 1,000 install bays.
Now, not all of them have
Well, no, I'm
an
just
employee
saying.
there.
Well,
Right.
yeah. What I'm
Right,
saying
right.
is that
Yeah.
when you look at a chain that has this many stores, there's going to be you have your guys that are amazing, you have your guys that are good, you have your guys that are okay.
Yep.
They come to work, they do their job, and then you have those guys that it's like, and then you have the guys that are like, oh, Jesus, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's with any place. When you look at independents, we're the same way. You know, you have an independent that is on top of the game, that does all, you know, it's like care. And then you have your independents that are just like, give me your keys, give me your keys, give me your keys and give me your money. So yeah, I just feel like they get a bad rap only because it's one place. So. But.
All right, talk about the D6 1200 amplifier. Javier say, I know the 5 and 6 channel are for subwoofers. Can I use it for a component?
The 6 channel?
Oh, absolutely, all day long. I mean,
it's not actually for subwoofer.
Right? No. It's that amplifier was designed to be, especially the D. You can do anything in the world you want with it. So, full range outputs, crossovers, time alignment. Right. So yeah, you're good to go with anything you need on that.
I mean, wasn't that the original idea behind the 1200? Was to like do maybe components and a rear or a 3-way set all the way? Or...
Absolutely. We wanted it to be the most versatile 6-channel amplifier made, and so we did have the pass-through output that has the DSP control over it and everything else. You guys know. You probably these guys, we don't know anything. I come in here today and they're doing a D4800 with an LC1800, which is by far.
You call it a 4800. So you don't put the dot in there. You just call it 4800.
Well,
no, that's cool because it drives me nuts. Every time I gotta stick the dots.
I just call it the LC 4800 or D 4800.
All right, I'm gonna call.
I don't call the LC 1800. I call it an LC 1800, not an LC 1800. Right. So I don't put the dot in there. LC 1800.
Yeah, that makes sense because everyone's going to think it's an 1800 watt amp.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. David tried to register his DMRTA online, but he cannot have the list. What he can do?
He hasn't been able to register it?
Mm-hmm. He's like, I tried to register my DMRTA
Give that tech support number one more time.
Yeah. We're available anytime during business hour, specific time. So the number is 425-775-8461.
Oh, I think I don't think they're talking about my beard. I think they're talking about your beard.
What's what?
This says new beard.
No, it's not new. It's just getting grayer. This is.
I don't know anything about that. I mean, mine is not gray.
I've been on the road. It's 7 weeks out of the last 8 weeks. I've been on the road doing training and stuff like that. So
that's crazy.
It's been fun though.
Mike asked the fun question there. He says, when will audio control be iData AR compliant? Want me to answer that one?
Okay, yeah, do it.
So I talked to Brandon last week, and what is Brandon's title? You know?
He oversees the engineering department.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's basically
engineering.
He's like, I am Brandon. I control all of you.
Yeah.
I control what I see. Anyways, I talked to Brandon about it last week because we had a big conversation with him, and it is this close. And the thing is, with AR, with audio control, it can't be this close. It has to be that close. So they are at 98, and there's like little things that just keep popping up, and it's driving him absolutely nuts.
Yep.
And so trust me, the engineers are working as hard as they can, and when it comes, it'll work, and that's what we want. We don't want something that was rushed and didn't work. We want something that just works. And iData is just as excited to have it on board too, because actually I hung up with Brandon and I got on the phone with Mark.
Oh yeah,
and
Mark
is my boy. Trust me, we're months away, and probably not even months. So I'm thinking midsummer. Midsummer for me is like next week, but I mean, it's soon. It's soon.
It is extremely close,
yeah.
and it has to do with the amount of funneling that happens between products, and it's a software thing.
And AR,
it has to be 100%.
And I can tell you, AR is not the easiest thing in the world. I mean, like the truck we were just working on out back has the Kenwood system in it that we've done dozens of times, and this particular one doesn't want to work right. And it's like, it's a box. What do you do?
What's up, John?
Please work. So, but that's the joy of what Card is turning into. Everything's boxes. Everything's box, everything's Amp Pro, everything's AR, everything's RR, everything's Pro this and that, and it's like, hey, I got a T-harness and Zen, and you just pray. You just plug and pray.
It's still really bewildering to me as an audio guy that I can log in and team view in and tune cars and stuff like that. Even 10 years ago, I didn't foresee that. being something that I was going to be doing. You know, as an accessory guy, I loved wire and RCAs and stuff like that. Coming to audio control, and I've always been more of a sales guy. Coming to audio control, it's like been an enlightenment of audio, and you know, working with a lot of great guys in the industry who have helped me understand audio and signal path and everything that needs to go on. And so it's become a huge thing, a huge undertaking, and that knowledge comes from what we're doing in our product range, right? And okay, what separates audio control? What's different about it? How do we make a product that is compelling in the marketplace to be better? Like, we don't want to be me too. We make good sound great, so we're not going to make good. We're going to make great, and that's, you know, it's been a really, really awesome joyride.
So I was talking to somebody else the other day, and we were talking about selling products, and it was like, I go, yeah, I sold another audio control system today, and they're like, really? And I was like, dude, I didn't want to. It's just that's the one that works, you know. And it's like, and they go, Chris is gonna kill you, and I was like, no, it's not, because that's the one I'm gonna sell. But I mean, it was like, you know, when I'm sitting there and it's like the problem that I have here, and then it's like, all right, how do I fix that problem? And it's it's like this 4.800. We didn't even talk about how we're integrating this one, and I'm really bummed that we didn't get to shoot a video on it. But we're using the front input. So the one thing about the
it's full.
So well, I have to do summing. So we're using the front tweeter input. So the AudioControl's is still the only one, I think, right now that allows you to run in the front tweeter and the front mid and do summing actively on channel 1.
Yep.
And that was what this Lexus behind us had. Was it has the front tweeter midder on channels 1 and 2 from the factory, and the mid bass is on 3 and 4 from the factory. And we need to sum those because we're going to a three-way component set. And so with using our DMRTA and our little cool Ken Ward little summing box, you know, we could see that, and we were summing them and flipping the polarity on them, and we were like, okay, we're going to have to flip the polarity on the mids and highs to sum those two together, but we can do all that in the amplifier, which is great. And it was like, yes.
Nice.
But there again, it's like, that's the only tool for this problem. So
you skate?
You're a skater? Like an ice skater?
Man.
You play hockey? Did you play hockey? Or roller skates?
No, he's talking skateboarding.
Oh, well, yeah, you're California, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's up, bro?
No.
There was a guy here asking about the GTO circuit.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna.
In general, did you see that one? So let's talk about the GTO for a minute. Is GTO using signal sense or is it DC offset?
Yep.
And that's becoming a problem because some of the stereo. So DC offset is a 5-volt DC signal that comes over the normal AC signal going to a speaker. So if you take your AC outputs that go to your speakers, put your probe on ground and meter one of them, and put it on DC, you get 5 volts. Turn the stereo off, 5 volt goes away. What DC offset is it's the device, the GTO or anyone else's, has the ability to look at that and go, oh, click, and turn on. Some of the newer products are going to not have that, so then you have to either find an accessory or get something that has single sets. Now, in a smart car, I know, why am I answering this?
No, it's good. I mean,
you know, just like Dean's.
Almost every manufacturer is looking for DC offset at this point. However, we are looking and we are doing product and design right now for some new products that we will not talk about that will have switching on it. So you can do speaker.
What's up, Ricardo?
You know.
Now, another
Mr.
cool
Rangel,
tool, not to talk about, but they're not really a competitor, is PAC makes this thing called the Ignition 3. What the Ignition 3 circuit is probably something you guys are eventually going to build in, which is a data bus input. Actually, no, this is simple. This just hooks up at your OBD2, and it senses when the car is running.
And gives you a trigger.
And it's, hey, whose name is on that?
Ah, look at that.
European, baby. It's auto lead.
So yeah, we will work on doing some additional stuff on there. We can talk. I would love to talk about LGDs because we are working on some new stuff for that.
That was great. There was a Christian excited about that.
So for all you guys out there with 2018 Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Maseratis.
So for those of you who don't know what the LGD is, this is the LGD. You guys see them in the pictures. They look like high level to low level adapters. They're not. There are, go ahead and say it because it's such a sexy word.
What's that?
Zobo.
Oh, yeah. So right now, the current LGDs, you guys, are not made just to turn on Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Maseratis. They're made as a filter to stabilize the factory audio signal. So the LGD currently should be used in most cars that have been built and made in the last 5 years, regardless of what kind of product you're putting in.
Right.
It basically just provides...
High-level product.
Yeah. It stabilizes the factory output. It cleans up the high frequency loss of a factory chipset that doesn't see a load.
Like the floor noise, it kills a lot.
Yep.
And the Fords, it kills that high frequency tweeter
Particularly
floor.
on the Fords.
Yeah, if you're doing a Ford with high level and you don't have one of these, start over.
So they're important, and a lot of guys put them in and they go, oh, well, I put it in my Chrysler and the factory amp still didn't turn on.
Because it's not made for that.
So you should still use it, but you should use it in conjunction with more resistive load. And that way the LGD can still filter the high frequency, keep, floor noise issues or loss of fidelity in the high frequency detail going. So
this is a load resistor. This is this one is 10 watt 30 ohm, which I think is enough. Because we have 22s, 30s, 54s. We got a bunch of them. Yeah. Stinger sells all these now.
Yep.
Now,
we are. So all that to lead up to the fact that we are making 2 more styles of LGDs. They're going to be Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Maserati. One will be for amplified and one will be for non-amplified. So we're looking at the ST Micro chipset where those start life. And we're saying, okay, what do we need to do exactly to make sure that your audio output from your factory source is stable and ready to go into anybody's product, not just audio control. That's one of the things about audio control is we always look at what's best for audio control as a company, but we also do stuff like the DMRTA. The DMRTA is a product that really we know we're going to sell a bunch of them to installers out there, but there is no long-term. You know what I mean? There is no residual
cells.
My
exercise, by the way.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about.
ACM
you guys remember these?
I'm going to start saying product, and then he'll run off screen.
Yeah.
You need me to go get it, I'll get it.
So we care about the industry as a whole. We make product for the industry as a whole, and the byproduct of that is just audio control products are gaining more and more relevance.
So anyways, you have been beta testing some of these for those?
Yeah, we have probably, I think I have about 40 guys have different test units and stuff like that. And so far the results have been fantastic. So nobody has had any issues, no thermal issues or anything like that. We're putting some kind of a unique circuit on the front side of it. So anyways, you guys will have a solution from Audio Control very soon. So even those Dodge, Chrysler, Maseratis, amplified, non-amplified, from 2015 on the amplified, because,
this is what happened. Hey, you go.
Yeah, we'll just cover up this.
Well, it's not their fault.
Everybody knows what it isn't their fault.
No, it's
but
not
at the same
their
time,
fault.
we don't want to do anything like that. But yeah, that's
so. This all right. We'll just pull off that sticker.
Yeah.
So this is this was a high level to low level adapter.
Not bad.
That's right.
This is a clear indicator. Okay, so this is the best sales pitch. I'm going to keep this, by the way.
Yeah.
Why you would want to go with an LC2I? Okay.
Yes.
So.
Or any audio control product. All the audio control products, we use the same inputs essentially from the LC2I.
So how much voltage will an LC2I take?
40 volts.
40 volts.
Yep.
So that's a lot of wattage. It's like what, 200 watts, 300 watts, 200 watts,
400.
400 watts. Okay, sure, we'll go with that.
Is what we say.
Yeah. This is a 35 watt high level to low level adapter that they put in this Lexus behind me, coming off of the factory Mark Levinson amplifier. It's called the 30. It's an SNI 35. Okay, we all seen these things.
Yeah.
It's called the 35 because it'll handle 35 watts of power. So they put it in something that has a factory 150 watt sub output. They almost burned the car to the ground. These are the cool little, these things, okay? So when you're talking about this guy and making sure there's no thermal issues,
yes,
this is what we're referring to. If they're the wrong mode, then bad things happen. But in LCs, all the LCs will handle the voltage, which is
any of our
Any
products.
of the amplifiers.
even the
yeah.
ACMs,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Oh, somebody say, what do you think about the ACM amplifiers?
But that's also why you guys have a dedicated high-level input, as
Exactly.
opposed to what everyone else does, where they just say that their RCAs will handle so much voltage.
Right.
And they're nowhere near, most of them are 10 or 12 volts.
There is great manufacturers out there today that are still making brand new amplifiers that can only handle up to 16 volts of input.
Yeah.
You know,
And yours will, over the high-level side, will take...
up to 40 volts.
40 volts, people! Woohoo! Okay. This has been fun. What the heck? We're learning today. We're not supposed to be doing that on Monday, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that question's just coming back around.
Yeah.
So I hope that. All right. So what are we talking about? So the GTO. Okay. So we covered that. All right. That's good.
Let's. Somebody asked about ACM. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
let's talk about ACM. So, and these guys maybe know. You know, a lot of guys look at
I
the
have
ACM.
mine in the
yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at the ACM and go, "Oh, another micro amplifier. Oh, it's not. You know, it doesn't have an overwhelming amount of power or anything like that." But the ACMs truly were designed to be, you know, kind of where you're not just using one or two amplifiers. My thought process and Audio Control backed it up was like, hey, let's get installs where we're using 6 of them and we're doing active setups with DSP.
Yeah.
Because sound quality wise, I truly believe it's, as far as I know, the best sound quality SQ small amplifier available on the market.
So when we did our test on the Lumi, which is the you familiar with the Lumi? That's that cool, inexpensive.
Oh yeah.
Handheld oscilloscope
Oscilloscope,
slash digital multimeter. We use this.
What's up, Mike?
So rated
Hey,
power at 4 ohms is how much? 50 watts?
50.
Yeah.
We were getting 75. Actually, we were getting 74 watts at 4 ohm.
With super clean.
Off
that's-
of,
yeah.
not only, yeah, because well, that's what we were testing for,
Yeah.
Oh,
for
yeah.
clip, or distortion. But we were getting that off of a 5-volt power supply or 5-amp power supply.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
just like-
so
Talk about efficient,
Yeah,
clean.
exactly.
Yeah.
so one of the cool features about the ACMs is this guy here. You take the cover off, it'll screw to the back. You can put it upside down. You can put it right side up.
If you guys make the plate
It's perfectly
for 2
flat
amplifiers.
on this side. It's perfectly flat, so if you need to butt 2 of them together, you can. You can buy the 4 and the 1, and you have a plate to make it a 5-channel, so if you
Yep.
want a small 5-channel. But you can stack these things on top of one another. You can have all kinds of fun with them. And it does have GTO.
Yep. GTO.
So
yeah, I mean, they are true, like, great sound quality amplifiers. So a lot of people just look at them like, oh, you know, it's another, you know, micro amplifier. So, but the ACM 1300, you guys, I mean,
Well, that's what's in his car.
I mean, that thing gets down.
Oh, yeah.
For 300
Oh, yeah.
watts.
Oh, we've
I
put a
have-
ton of crap on it.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
There's one guy that's doing like Rockford P2s, 212s off of one.
Oh, yeah.
And he's done that a few times, and it's just cool.
So you got, real quick, back to the LGD. One of the things it has is it has those standard audio control Phoenix connectors. Phoenix connectors, right? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
And all the amps have the same connectors so that if you need to, well, of course,
Plug in.
but you will, because these are the high level, so you'll be
Yeah.
screwing it in like that. But same plugs. That's why we have lots of these things laying around. Okay.
So,
Yes.
let's see.
Hi, Jeremy
let's,
Dorn.
Let's talk about some new stuff.
I was gonna say,
There
like,
you
let's
go.
talk about
What-
So we're
some-
talking-
That's
we
why
talked about-
everybody's waiting.
Yeah, we talked about the LGDs, right?
Uh-huh.
We talked about that stuff. So we have been extremely successful with the LC series amplifiers, right? And I have been a holdout, you know, as an old, you know, installer, retailer. I was never a big fan of 5-channel amplifiers, and so the 5-channel thing has always just kind of slid away, and I'm like, let's do the 6-channel amplifier. It's way more important. You know, it's more versatile, all that stuff. And if guys want to use it as a 5-channel, that's fantastic. I love the
Right.
thought of using the 6-channel in 5-channel mode, and then just telling your customer, or if you want to update later,
Right.
you can double power, go active, buy amp, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It's all there. And then since the amplifier is your integration piece as well, the RCA output, you guys
Right.
do those systems all the time.
All the time.
But we are going to do
A 5-channel.
Two,
Two
not
5
only
channels.
one.
Yeah, so you have to do two.
So-
Because one's gonna be
Yeah.
the alphabet soup, the DSP'd.
All right. So you want me to run through a little bit of the specs on that thing, or?
Yeah, because
Go ahead. Everybody's like,
honestly, you've been great.
I
I
want
feel
more.
like Vanna White today.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like pulling stuff off the shelf.
Right
going,
now,
talk
you're
about it,
feeding the
Chris.
beast.
Talk about it, Chris.
We're working on right now, and we have our first two protos built. The very first one is going to be the LC 1300. It's going to be in our larger chassis, which is the same chassis that the LC 1800 is. The LC.
You mean the 1500?
The 1500. I'm
Because this,
sorry.
so it's going to be
3 inches.
3 inches more than this.
Yep.
So
Same chassis. 3 inches is the larger chassis.
Okay.
Right now it's capped out at 1500 watts with the LC 1500, but this 5-channel is going to be very unique in the marketplace. First off, it has 8 speaker level input, so that front input is still going to be there. You're still going to have the ability to pick and choose if you need to
All right,
some.
Let me talk about the front high
talk about
input
that.
real quick. So right here you'll see. All right, so this has 6 RCA's. There's 4. This is a 4-channel amp. All right, so it has a front input, a rear input, and then the sub or rear out or subwoofer output. We'll just call it subwoofer output. Okay. These guys right here are your high level input. So it has your standard 1-2 input, 3-4 input, and then it has this guy right here. When you pull this off, it says inputs front high. So what this allows you to do is you actually can run 6 inputs into this amplifier. So like we were talking about earlier about this Lexus that's behind us, channels 1 and 2 from the factory are the mid-range and tweeter. So we're running those into here. All right, come on, John, you're gonna help me with this.
Uh-oh.
Let's hope we just don't drop stuff.
There you go.
All right, so
He is Vanna White. Look at him.
All right, so this is the setup that's going in this car, and if you'll notice, right here, this is your inputs for your tweeters, and if we pull that out, there's your inputs for your mid-range. So this is giving us a full 6 channels of input for this amplifier. Now in the software, on the D's in the software, you control that channel. On the top of the amplifier, on the LC, because this is an LC, this is the 800, this is going to be the sub amp, you control the input there. I'm sorry, I'm just doing, having fun. Like to show and tell.
No, you know
So-
what? I'm just thinking about this right here. This is by far like my favorite
5-channel.
easy 5-channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
Well, that was the
that's
thing.
all
This was
the
my
time.
favorite 5-channel
Oh, yeah.
until what we're talking about now.
Correct.
So that's what we're talking about when we say we have that input. So we still only have front and rear capability, but now we actually can do front tweeter, front mid, into it, control it from the software, do our blending that we need to do when we're summing, and then we can do what we want. Oh, hey, what's up, Derek? Thank you, John. So back to the 5-channel amp. Now that we're all caught up.
So until we come out with a 5-channel, buy that. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
sure.
right there.
That's why
'cause
that's
that
going
is-
in this.
That is like truly like. As an old retailer, I think about DSP, how long DSP has been out there, how expensive it was,
Right.
and that right there
Oh, it's way cheaper.
is $1,200.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you can't even.
$1,200
They have it in
price
one
point.
piece.
You can't even
And
get
it's-
into the one
and
for
it's
that.
it's
you know,
a
or you
6x6
can now,
DSP with 1600 watts of RMS power and all that stuff. So now back to the LC 1300. Okay.
Now that we're caught up,
So the LC.
Terry, I'm not interrupting him. I'm just trying. Now I'm
You just
interrupting
did.
him.
You
But
just
I'm
did.
trying to make it so that you guys understand what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
if we just throw out features, then you don't know what those features mean. So
Stop
if we take 5
interrupting.
minutes, go back to it.
All right. So it has 8 speaker level inputs. 2
Okay.
of those auto sum. The other 2 are selectable summing. So you can pick and choose. If you needed to sum, 2 speakers from the front stage and 2 speakers from the rear stage, you could do that.
Wow.
If you needed to do summing with, like in a BMW, you're summing tweeter for under seat woofer, you can just sum the front 6 channels
Okay.
and then still have rear fill, so you can keep fader.
Okay.
That's kind of a
Oh,
cool
wow.
big feature.
Oh, all right.
So the LC 1300, that's all great and neat. We are simplifying the signal path so that AccuBase will only be on channel 5 output. All right, so
Okay.
it will. You don't have the ability to switch AccuBase on 1 through 4.
Which makes sense.
Yep, summing built into it. Now, what's really going to set it apart is we're going to use our same set of amplification. So that's 125 watts RMS at 4 ohm with 200 watts RMS at 2 ohm. So that's across all 4 of the other channels. So if some of you guys know, one of the reasons why we continue to grow as a company with amplifiers is because we have great power output in the price point. And it's really good, clean power output. All right, so where it gets really cool is on the sub output. So in fact, Dean was talking with Brandon today and got some
last week.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was today.
It was like Friday.
Okay.
Am I interrupting?
No, you're good. So let's talk about that 5th channel output. So in the marketplace, typically with a 5-channel, you're seeing an average of about 500 watts.
Right.
And when you're looking in that price point, that's just fine.
okay.
Yeah.
A lot of 5
500
channels
watts.
are
Yeah.
sold. So
Yeah.
4 to 5 channel is good.
one of the things that we wanted to make sure we had and made available was the ability to have this 5-channel with a 1 ohm stable 5th channel output.
Right.
So the goal is to see close to 1,000 watts on the sub output at 1 ohm. So you're looking at, ideally, we want it to be 500 watts at 4 ohm, 750 at 2 ohm, and 1,000. So we actually rated the amplifier and named it based off the 500 watt output RMS. So we can assure you we're at least going to deliver that on that sub output. And then as you go and it is stable, it's not quite double anymore like it used to be with AV amplifiers, but we are testing that stuff and we will finalize the power output, but we will be very, 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 very close to 1,000 watts RMS output at 1 ohm on the 5th channel output. And that's a big deal.
It is
That's a big deal.
And for me, it's the other way. Like the sub is great. You know, like 800 watts for me, it's killing it. Like that's plenty. But it's the high side. What the real power you're getting out of it is the crazy part. I mean, you know, 150, 170 watts by 4 at 4 ohm. Because I mean,
awesome.
Paul comes to me over the other day and he goes, you know, a lot of cars are starting to come with 3-way sets in them, and I'm like, yeah, I know, right? So these amps need those big channels to do that.
Bass knob included.
So you know how much money they can make?
Bass knob. So I was talking with the owner of another big company, and we were talking about bass knobs. So we're sitting at dinner, and I go, dude, tell me, give me a bass knob. And he goes, we sell them. And I said, why not put them in the box? He goes, why would we do that? Because we sell the bass knobs. I said, well, he goes, listen, not everyone wants a bass knob. And if we put them in the box, that's revenue that just gets thrown away. He goes, we sell thousands, sick number of bass knobs. You know, he goes, there's no reason to delete that SKU. You know, and also it's a quality bass knob.
Keep talking. I have something that you don't know about that I'll show you.
Ooh.
All right. So Sean actually say Kicker and Pioneer do auto EQ. Is the audio control going to get into that game with accessory input?
Well, okay. So to get to that, they do a feature in the audio control software. They do what's called de-equalization.
Yes.
So if you play pink noise in the disc, or if you play pink noise from your source and hit auto EQ, that'll go ahead and de-EQ the car for you so that you're at a...
It doesn't say auto EQ, it says
no, it doesn't say auto
EQ.
EQ.
It says
now,
say auto.
What Pioneer does is Pioneer and then the Kicker key are using a microphone.
Yeah.
So, I don't,
We kind of, basically we already have it, so it's just a matter of how you're looking to accomplish that.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, we're not correcting time alignment or anything like that, but we are correcting the EQ curve. So it will work at giving you a flat response output for that channel. So, and it takes like...
Yes, Christian.
It takes like 90 seconds. You click on the button, you play pink noise into the system, it'll re-EQ that stuff for you. So.
And then it gives you the option, do you want to use this? Click yes or no, and you click yes, and you know, you see the cool curve. And
we've had that for how long?
That's been in there since day one. The thing is it gives you a great place to start. So, like I always say, if you have...
I can't find it. Oh, damn. But it's really cool.
Great! Yeah, so the thing I've always said about like the audio control software, like if you guys go back 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when we featured that on the Saturday DSP show, you guys in your software give you 2 of the 3 RTAs that you need to tune a car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's 2 that you need that are going to be audio related via electronic.
Yep.
Which are the more expensive ones, which is what you're giving people with the software. And then the third one is just audio, which is the cheaper one. So in your software, your RTA gives you input signal RTA.
Yep.
And then output signal RTA. So you get to see the signal coming in, and that's where your processor, your de-equalization is looking at, and then it'll do its DEQ, and then you can see the RTA after the fact.
Yep.
And then if you buy something as simple as an iTest mic, I mean, obviously DMRTA
Then you can do
is the
the
dream, but
acoustic.
you can
Yeah.
use something as simple as an iTest mic and finish the whole package. If you're cool, then you want to buy the DMRTA, which was out earlier. And then you plug the mic into this guy, and then you have all 3 of the RTAs you need, and there's nothing you can't do with the world at that point.
It's crazy. I'm just sitting here and like all the products and stuff that we're working on. Like I wanted to show just a real quick update on the ACBT24. So the ACBT24 is cool. It allows you to plug into the DMRTA, DM608, DM810, and stuff like that. But we are working on a very, very cool app that you can use.
The Bluetooth dongle, for those of you that are wondering.
Yep, that piece right there. So we're working on a whole nother app that's gonna take the place of a bass control knob, essentially.
All right, I have a question.
Have
Actually,
you ever seen that? Hold on. Let me figure out how to work this thing.
all right, I have a question
It does
actually
2
for the
things.
ACBT24. It says when I'm streaming audio with the ACBT24 in conjunction with the DMA10, can you still have a sub-control, or will the knob just serve as a volume control?
You have to set that up in the user interface. So what you would do is, no, you cannot. What you would have to do is turn on the ACR for all the outputs and use it as a master volume control. So yes, you would not. If you were using like an LC1800 or something like that, I would recommend doing regular ACR1 as your bass volume control. So.
Yeah, we're working in the IS right now. That's what we have, the 4.800 and the 1.800.
Sorry.
Focal speakers all the way around, so it's a big project.
I showed this to some other manufacturer, and they're like,
I want to show you mine because mine's better than that one.
oh no, there again.
So we are working on an app, you guys. That is going to be really cool. So all it is a volume control knob with 4 presets, right?
Okay.
But the whole plan is like we want to start with that, right? So you don't need to use an ACR 3 with any of the DSPs. You just plug in the ACBT24. The consumer, you guys do the install here. The consumer can keep the ACBT24 plugged in, and then they have their own app that is volume control and preset recall. And the plan is to get that going with, typical, iOS and Android. But ideally, we're working towards getting that into CarPlay and Android Auto.
Oh, that would be cool.
Right?
This says you're an app.
You're in.
What up, brother?
So that's going to take like the place of like a DRC.
Yes. We don't want to spend $175,000 or whatever to engineer, a controller when everybody's walking around with a controller already.
Yeah, makes sense.
Why not?
So let's get back to 5 channels.
5 channels. Yes.
All right. So that's
Thanks for railing us back.
That
Chris.
is the LC 1300 that will be out by the end of the year.
Okay.
Don't hold out. If you need something now, get the LC 1200, and then you can add a sub amp to it. So then, in conjunction with that, we're also working on the D5 1300, which is a 5-channel amplifier with all those same features, 8 inputs and stuff like that. However, it's going to have an 8x7 DSP built into it. Why 8x7?
I'm thinking in my head.
Because the 5th channel output is just the mono output.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to have on that amplifier, you have 8 sets of RCA. So he showed you guys, the 6 sets on there. There's going to be 8 sets.
Is there going to be an output?
There's going to be a 2-channel stereo output that's controllable in the DSP. Now, why would we do that?
Because you're cool. So I can make it a big, powerful 3-channel amplifier, and I can put a ACM 2.300 to power some stinky rear speakers, or I can go full active on channels 1 through 4. And yeah.
All right, so you will have a 5-channel amplifier that you can very, very easily turn into a 7-channel amplifier.
A 2-way.
All right, so if you're bi-amping front, you can add an ACM 2300 really easily, and run 75 watts to each tweeter. You would get 125 watts to mids if you're 4-ohm, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And so you have the ability to go in and do all that
Christmas list.
Yeah.
So that's cool. No, I'm excited about that now because that has been the one thing about. That's been the one thing about the 1200 that kind of like is that I can't do that, and that's awesome that we're going to be able to do that with the 5-channel. God, man. All right.
We've had lots of for those of you guys out there that don't know, we do. Really, really high-end home audio amplification, processing, stuff like that. We make multi-channel, 8-channel, 16-channel home amplifiers. Our price points are such that I don't even have it in my. I have some of our stuff, but
you don't or you do?
I do, but I do 2-1 in all 3 of our rooms, and it sounds amazing because we have like the Rialto amplifier.
Yeah, the little tiny thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful amplifier. It has super clean power output, and tons of power for the size. So we do lots of processing already, and this is all going for ADA and up mixing. So we work with the folks at Dirac and all these other companies already. We have the ability to put that stuff into our processors, and we've talked about it for a couple of years. Now, the only thing is like most of our amplifiers, because of who we are as a company, end up getting sold into a car that is a factory car. And if it's dynamic, all that processing and up mixing
gets wasted.
So that's one of the reasons. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but we have the ability to make it happen.
I'm thinking 810 Pro. Oh, better yet, a 1010 Pro.
Yep.
Or a 1212 Pro.
Some of us factory, manufacturers joke around all the time. So I would have to be like a 1416 or something because I have to be,
Yeah. I'm fine with that too. Yeah. 12 to 16 Pro would be awesome. For $2,000. The DSP's DSP, and it'll have everything. That's one of those things where you make that list. It's like everyone says they want, like Kenwood when they decided to come out with the screen, the 720 screen instead of the 480. Is that because everyone says, do this. Fine, we're gonna do this. And the Japanese are going, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, people are going to buy it. And it's a great screen. It definitely is. But it's like, you almost, sometimes, I know you get frustrated like I do sometimes. You almost just want to like, all right, forget it. I'm going to make this piece that's just going to blow everybody's mind. And it's going to have everything. It's going to have 64 dB per octave slopes that are just like, oh my God, every feature under the sun. And then who's going to buy it?
Oh, yeah. I mean... When we were working on the DM processors, going back 4 years ago, I would go around and talk to everybody I could, and they're like, "Oh, it's got to have this, it's got to have that, it's got to have that." I'm like, "Yeah, it's going to be priced so high, we're only going to move 100 pieces a year."
Yeah, what's the point? At that point?
And at that point, we're going to put all that work and effort into creating something that educates, helps people understand signal path, the built-in RTAs, all that stuff is just going to be sidelined because the only 50 or 100 guys that are going to use it are guys who know absolutely everything about audio anyways.
Right.
They're not going to take advantage of that stuff. So we really created everything in the lineup.
No, everything's fine.
Yeah. We created everything in the lineup just to have a product that's compelling at a price point that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
you want to sell it.
We're trying to bridge the audio gap is what we're doing. So if you're a retailer or a customer even, the audio gap is like you go in and you're buying, $129 head unit and all that stuff. That's all great. That's fine. There's product for that. And then, you go into a boutique, grade A store and they're telling you, oh, well, you have to have this, this $2,000 amplifier and this and that. And they're writing, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 tickets all the time. Right, and so audio control is going to be and is becoming more so the midline that kind of crosses the boundaries for the boutique shops where I can be an entry-level product.
Right.
Right? And then for box moving retailers that are heavily ingrained in the industry, I can be their high-end product.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we've done a great job at keeping the price points where they need to, considering we are a U.S. manufacturer, considering we do offer a 5-year warranty across all the products, and we do offer products that have stuff that not everybody else has. When you look at the LC multi-channels,
Yeah.
we are still the closest thing at being a DSP without being a DSP.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well, I
the
mean,
only product on the
you
market.
get the full LC7i experience built into it.
All right.
I like this one. Hold on, real quick. Sean, what Sean asks. What kind of car do you drive, Chris?
No, it says what is in Chris's car.
What is
Well,
the
yeah, but let's go to. Okay.
I drive a scooter.
Yeah, I was gonna
No.
say. You do. You got a BMW scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
where,
nice
where
one.
he lives. Where he lives, the scooter. Could you take a ferry
Yeah.
when you're home?
When I'm home, yeah.
And I love looking at pictures of your yard. I'm not gonna. Every time you go, and this is my view. I'm like.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work, but
Yeah. But it's
so
awesome.
What's
let's
up,
talk about
Marty?
what's in my car. So, in my car, I have the privilege of having beta, test units and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So I have a DM810 in my car. So my car is a Kia Optima. That is my airport car. The only time it gets driven is I'm driving back and forth to the airport.
Yeah.
So I have a DM810 processor in there. It is the factory, amplified system. So it was 11 active channels. I still have a factory source unit. So I am summing, and I am summing 10 inputs, all 11 inputs. And you're asking me, how do I sum all 11 inputs into
No, I've done it.
a
in that car.
DM810?
That's fun.
So what's in my car is all 11 outputs go into a LC6.
Yep.
All right, and then so I have 3 inputs that go right into that. Okay, and then I have an RCA that goes in. So I'm mixing high level and low level into the DM810.
Okay.
Okay, because what I wanted to do was show people, hey, this is what factory, Logic 7 or whatever it
Yeah.
has in it
Yeah.
with 11 active channel sound. Now I'm going to delete center channel, delete rear fill, and do a single seat SQ car.
Okay.
And so that's how it's set up. So I have 2 presets in each setup.
Okay, I just yawned, and it's not because of this. It's because I stayed up way
Yeah.
too late last night with everyone else watching Game of Thrones final episode. So,
That was-
and then I had to edit a show. So just in case, that was just because of that.
Alright.
I've done one of those, and I actually used
Yep.
like multiple LC eyes
Yeah.
because it was like we were actually doing it for another shop, and like, could you do this summing thing that you all talk about? And we're like, yeah, sure. And like, you want to do? And they're like, no, just use these. And we're like, all right, whatever, fine. You know.
So DM810
Yep.
with an LC6i to handle all 11 channels from the factory.
Yep.
All right, and then I go out to I have 2 LC 4800s. So one LC 4800 is just front, left, and right.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other LC 4800, only 3 channels, so I have center channel, rear fill.
Yep.
So basically, I can go through and switch off rear fill and center channel
Yeah.
whenever I want.
Doing that.
And I do that through the processor, not with turning the trigger off on it.
Oh, come on, man.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. What do you have for sub?
So for a sub, I props to AudioFrog, Andy out there. So I have GB speakers
Okay.
throughout. My center channel is a GS
Okay.
4 and a GB 12. And I have a Epicenter 600 because it's
That's right there.
I had the system put in.
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
I did the system 3 years ago.
Pre 800.
Pre 800.
Just twist them all together. Right, Marty. Exactly.
That is awesome.
All 11 channels.
Just
It
let
worked
this,
out fine.
it's only smoke, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, heck, that's awesome.
That
Yeah.
is amazing.
Now, does that car get to your house, or does that stay?
No, it stays at the
Oh,
house.
okay.
So Audio Control Mobile Sound Systems in Arlington, Texas, built a demo car 3 years ago, 2 years ago for Knowledge Fest, the
Right.
GLK Mercedes, the red one. I don't know.
Okay,
If
we didn't see
I
it.
saw the pictures.
Yep.
Yep.
And
It has
so
flax.
that car has Focal Flax in it, active 3-way setup. Pretty much the same amplifiers I have in mine, except it has serial number 2 of the LC1800 in
Oh,
it.
wow.
And so that car was done 2 years ago. And the guys at Mobile Sound Systems, he was getting ready to buy a boat and a car.
Jeff says hi.
Uh,
Smith.
aw.
Okay.
Jeff's
Get ready.
What up, Jeff?
Where's them discs, Jeff? Okay.
So that car, 6 months ago, he called us up and was like, hey, he has a retail location inside of a Mastercraft boat place
Okay.
as well.
Wow.
And he's like, hey, I'm getting ready to buy a boat and a truck. Would you guys be interested in buying the vehicle? And I'm like, heck yeah. So Audio Control bought that.
Okay.
And it has the DM810. It has a Sony GS9 high-res player in it, DM810, LC1800, all flax components. And it is an amazing, amazing sound quality car. Yep.
So you mentioned over the water. Is that too soon?
What's that?
Water?
Oh, the marine stuff?
We could. Oh, well, you say it like we could talk about it.
So we are working on 2 marine amplifiers also that will be, IPX6 rated micro amplifiers based off the outputs of the ACM.
Totally
amplifiers.
different looking.
So, something about the ACMs that a lot of guys don't know is that they are conformally coated. And when you have the cover plates on them, they are. Open one up sometime.
Maybe the ACBT24?
And so when you have the cover plate on and you look at this thing, there's like no place for any kind of water intrusion or dust or anything like that when you have the cover plate off. But these boards in the ACMs, not only are these like incredibly good sound quality amplifiers, but they are conformally coated. So the thought process here was like, if somebody's putting it in a fairing on a Harley or something like that, you can actually have a great sound quality in a micro footprint and still have water and dust, protection.
Very cool.
Actually on the board. So.
All right, so somebody asked Chris about the Bluetooth audio control for DSP.
Yeah.
There.
So the ACBT24, we are working on an app that will allow you to do stuff. So right now, the app will allow you to do programming as well as streaming aptX HD. So you can do that now.
Yeah.
Same as the using it with the.
I've
the
never used it in the amp. I've only used it in the MRTA. I sold one of them to put in an amp, but.
And you know what? Somebody else said that if you're using Android with the ACBT24, it's a little bit quicker response than.
Well, we'll never know.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, we'll never know.
All right, Ray actually typed this question probably like 3 times already.
Okay.
I sold 2
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
2.300 for a front stage.
Yep.
Component setup. Will be better to do the 4.300 by amp or do the 2.300 and do passive?
That's a great question. So for me personally, it would depend on where the drivers are going to be mounted.
For control.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing passive, the 2.300 is fine, but ideally in that passive setup, the tweeter mid should be as close as possible together. If you are doing, and doing bi-amping, that's a different story. I like having control over that, so the second I know my tweeter mid-range is starting to separate, I'm going to do a DSP if I'm doing an active setup or a bi-amp
of
setup.
course.
Yeah.
I like power.
The power to
I like power.
Almost all customers, I mean, let's not forget what almost all customers want. They want louder, cleaner, more dynamic systems.
Yes.
Right? There's a ton of guys out there that have nice home theater systems and setups, and they really care about staging and stage depth and stuff like that. That's great, but most customers want louder, cleaner, more dynamic systems that don't have issues, don't have problems, and they can get in and jam in their hour-long commute and have no issues and just enjoy their audio.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Mario.
Mario.
So he's talking about if we use this along with the software, it's not to the point yet where you can actually use this as a master system. That's the app that you guys are talking about that you're developing.
You would still have to control it through the install app, the smart app.
Yeah, so it's not as slick yet.
So it's not as slick yet. So
But like you say, you guys
but
are
we're
working on
working on it.
We are working on it. So
Yeah.
there's gonna be the DM Smart app, okay, and then we don't know what it'll be called yet, but it's basically the DM Consumer app where you can get in and do basic stuff. So right now, like I said, preset recall and a volume. Okay, then you might swipe, and then maybe you can have treble, bass, balance, fader, anything else that you can program later. But for now,
You give them
you know, maybe you want on-the-fly AccuBass tuning, or maybe you want to
Are
add.
you thinking like a global EQ kind of thing, or just?
Yeah. So if you go through and you auto EQ, and so you have, you know, all your outputs are locked in the DSP.
Yeah.
So now in the
Just want a little
consumer
treble.
app, if you just want treble, it will actually just take, you know, those 10 bands and just increase them without messing with your EQ curve.
So global
yeah,
stacking,
like a
EQ.
master.
Like as Jeff says,
Yeah.
our box does that.
Right.
Our box does that.
So
So none of that left, right. Oh, pick one.
All right, Jason, thank you so much.
Man. Well, Jason is
Is that
the
an
keeper
hour?
of the time.
That's
That
an
was an
hour,
hour.
man. It's crazy.
You know Jason, right? At
yeah,
Audio King.
of course.
So Stereo King, sorry.
Stereo King.
That's an hour. I know, right? We had a lot of fun today talking about audio control. I can't believe we actually talked, and I got
crazy.
to break out all the fun stuff to talk about.
That seems
and-
like it was 15 minutes.
I know,
Exactly.
right? Well, I worked out. I'm actually sweating. No, I'm joking. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show tonight. Thank you much, Chris. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming on the show. Hopefully, I didn't interrupt you too much, but if I did,
No,
it's my
it was
show.
awesome.
No, I'm just kidding. DNF Tool Drawer is a place you can find all the cool tools that we use in the installs, such as an iTest mic or anything like that. Patreon is a place you can go to support the show. He's a member. Thank you so much. And you get a podcast, video, all that fun stuff. Teespring/store size 5 stars, a place you can go to get cool shirts. What am I forgetting? Oh yeah, podcast. You can find it on iTunes,
Yeah,
Google,
Beam.
Android, all that fun stuff.
All right, real quick.
Okay.
You want to answer this?
How high
Chris?
can you stack ACM amps, and if stacking with DSP 810? So I actually did a layout for somebody who wanted to use 20 ACM amplifiers. And so what I was going to do is just make the cover plate with a little bridge spacing for the heatsink.
Yeah.
And then stack them back to back. So as many as you want to do, you can stack up. I would put all the amplifiers on top of the DSP. And KFS codes have not been released yet for Dallas. They were supposed to come out through today, but the MEA just finished up their event over the weekend, and so hopefully we'll see those in the next couple days. So I still know, Ray, that I owe you a code, and you will get it from Audio Control for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for
Thanks,
watching.
guys.
Woo! You guys
It's been a
later.
show. You guys have a great night as always. We'll see you again Saturday when we talk more DSP. This week we're going to have Alpine. So we're going to be talking about the Alpine DSP, right? Yeah. Okay. Just pretend
guys
you didn't hear
later.
for that. All right. We already did audio control. We'll see you
Bye.
guys Saturday. Have a wonderful week. Bye.